Okay, this is the biggest mistake that I see sellers making on Amazon every single time. When people come to me and I see people posting in groups, this is it, okay? Do you have the resources to compete in this market? Okay, and now I just want to break this down at more a theoretical level and a fundamental level, okay? So I guess more at a fundamental level, do you have the amount of cash flow? Do you have enough cash to buy units to be selling as much as the people on the first page? That's it, okay? For several months, because you're going to have to stock not only 1 month's product, you're going to have to stock while it's shipping and lead time for your manufacturer. You need to be able to ship and hold on hand about 2.5, 3 months of inventory. So whatever they're doing at the warehouse or whatever the first page on Amazon, like basically wherever you want to be, you have to sell that much units. Is that it? Like, okay. So you have to have that many units. So I've seen people do this before. They go to like dog pet glove. Oh, so many people were like thinking this was a great product. And I was like, no. Okay. Now we take a look at these and let's just do the revenue here quick. I don't think this is the right keyword, but like some of these are doing massive numbers, okay? Like that one's 257,000 and whatnot. Let's say 40. Let's say you're trying to be one of these top guys, okay? And you want to be $41,000 a month. Well, let's say inventory is what? Because it's an $8 product. Inventory is probably $2 a piece or something. So that's going to cost you like 10 grand. You're going to have like float 20 grand or more. And you're going to have to do so many giveaways. So not only are you going to have to actually have that money, okay? That's one. Just can you get the inventory? Two, you're going to have to do massive giveaways here because look at the competition. They've got a lot of reviews. Not just the reviews and do you have enough money to get there, but why would people buy yours over the other ones? Okay, that's what it comes down to at a certain point. And if you can't answer that like that, it's going to be really hard. Like this guy's doing it smart by going with the premium product and then showing that with the fur, like, oh, look at how good this is. But so many people don't literally think about that. So if you go to the search page, would you personally choose your product? And if you could do that, then you're good. That's great. And if it's at the right price point, you always want to be that high premium price point because that'll make your margins better. But some people are just going into things that are way too competitive and you need to match the exact amount of sales of the people that are up there. They just don't think that through. And then I ask them, well, how are you going to get up there? Well, the other guy was selling good with his pet gloves, so I did it. Like, no, that doesn't work like that. Why would Amazon show you his unproven pet gloves with very few reviews that aren't any different over that? So sorry if that sounds negative, but you've just got to logically think about these markets. So you could differentiate and serve a part of the market, but like some of these are just too competitive to go into if you don't have the money to do these giveaways, because that's as it gets higher and higher and higher. Some markets, like everybody has to do giveaways and cheat just to stay ranking, because it's not cheating. It's technically against term service in my opinion. I don't do launch services. Do what you want though, but you have to be doing Facebook giveaways and whatnot. So people don't think about it from that perspective enough, in my opinion. Literally just, if you can answer the question of why would people buy mine over the others? How can I add value? And you, I guess the other thing I didn't look at is, so obviously number of reviews, because that'll be a huge barrier to entry. If there's so many other reviews and you're not different, you're the same price. But then, if they don't have good listings, okay, you could come in and improve, make a better marketing pitch. But if it's all done well and it's all well selling and the margins are low, like just know and be able to answer the question, this is how I can compete and this is why people would buy mine over the others, and then it'll work. But if you can't, then maybe pass, go to the next one. I just want to show you one example of where I didn't have the resources to compete. I still don't know if I do. I could put it in, but essentially there's these Arduino kits. So there are people that are just learning how to solder and build electronics. And there's some people doing massive numbers, 206,000 a month and whatnot. They don't have too many reviews. And I could definitely have come in and differentiate here. Because they're all just bundles of different kits, and it's all about making the best kit for the right market. And I don't think it's marketed the best, but I don't have the supply chain ability that some of the people do in Shenzhen. They all know the manufacturers, or they are their own, and then creating these electronic guides and kits is just be a large undertaking. And some of these, they specialize. They have a whole electrical engineering department showing all these different kits that you can make, and they have pre-made programs for you. Yeah, this is a very good brand, and they're killing it if you just look at it. Come Q4, they might do $1 million a month just on one product, because they're teaching your kids how to learn STEM these days is huge. So I just can't scale like they can. Look at all these lessons that they're making. So yeah, this is somewhere where I still couldn't compete. All right, so that was the high level, but now I'm going to really break it down just so you guys can see granularly. So you might be thinking that it's only money to compete, but it's not. So here, just writing it out, there's actually 3 types of resources. It's skills, differentiation, and money. So just because you got money doesn't mean you're going to make it. So by having differentiation and skills, you can get the money over time, but the money, you got to have enough money. So we're going to break down kind of how to calculate how much money that you need to go into a market to be successful, and videos throughout the course help you know if you got the skills or the differentiation. What you need to do is you need to look and kind of do this math. So we would take the quantity of units per month, and then the price per unit, months of inventory, and then your marketing ad spend. Okay, so let me explain each one of these. So if you're looking at someone and they're selling 1,000 units a month, okay, and let's say it's a $10 product, so that's 10,000 in revenue, and it's 1,000 units. Okay, now what you need to do then is look at the price per unit. So go to Alibaba and just type in the product name and do a general search and see kind of what the average price is, just to get a good feeling. Well, let's say the price for the unit was $2, okay? So this means that we need 2,000 units a month, or $2,000 a month, of units, essentially. But you don't want to buy just 1 month of inventory. You want to buy 2.5 to 3. Now, this is dependent on your lead time, okay? What do I mean by that? Essentially, the time for the manufacturer and your shipping time, okay? So normally, let's just assume it obviously depends on every supplier, what type of industry, what type of product, but you could generally expect it's going to be about 45 days for the manufacturer. Oh, and by that, 2.5 to 3, that's in months, okay? Because that's just how we're doing it. So 45 days for the manufacturer, and then you've got shipping. Okay, if it's going by air, it'll be about 15 days, about 2 weeks, because, they got to get it, they ship it gets into the Amazon warehouse, processing. All right, now if it's going to be sea, it's going to be more like 45 days, okay? If you're shipping by air, this would be 60 days, okay? And then by air, and then by sea is going to be more like 90 days. Not fun. Okay, so if it takes 90 days to get back and you reorder and then it's 90 days till it hits Amazon, well, when you launch your product, you're probably not going to rebuy the day it hits the Amazon warehouse, because you're not sure if it's how much to order, if it's worth it. So essentially what you're going to want to do then is, that's why we have 2.5. So this would be 2 months. Okay, but then we add in a little bit of time, because obviously we're not going to rebuy right away. So that's why it's like 2.5, and then obviously if it's C, so it'd be 2.5 months there, or it'd be 3.5 for C or more, depending on how everything works out. So that's why I use about a 2.5 to 3. I suggest most people go with air, even as you're scaling, because it just We're not going to go in depth on that. If you want to learn more about lead time, we do have a video on that where we go really in depth on the lead time. Not in this one though, but that's just the basics of it. And lead time is actually one of the most overlooked things, because imagine if your lead time was 1 day, you wouldn't have to invest nearly as much because you could just get more product the next day at a fundamental level. Okay, so let's just do the math here quick. So we had 1,000 units. So 1,000 times 2, so this is $2,000 a month to fund that. But you have to have months of inventory. So that times, let's just call it 3, is $6,000. Okay? So we would need $6,000 there, and then we got to have marketing ad spend. Basically, you're going to need a couple $1,000s for PPC. Okay? Now this will come back to you because you're selling and getting money for the items too. Just know you're going to have to spend money on advertising, obviously. So let's just use 2,000 here. If you want to know, we will later have more videos on PPC in the course, so you can watch that. But just know you got to do that, and you got to have photos and stuff. So maybe let's just call it 2,000 for that and PPC to get going. If you're going into a more aggressive market, you're going to have to spend a lot more dollars. Okay, so in general, let's just call this about $8,000 to go into something that's doing 1,000 units a month and $10,000 in revenue. The summary here is that you got to just think practically about what it will take to replicate success. And this math is even more important if you're not really differentiated. Now, if you are more differentiated and you're not going to have to spend nearly as much on PPC, and ranking will be a lot easier, and then it's going to be a lot better. But assuming that you are equal to your competitor, you're going to need to match their number of sales to get there. This is all very obviously dependent, and you're not going to know the exact answer. I don't. It always kind of depends, but we can get close. So that's what I've done. I've always done out the math, and I was able to predict the eclipse demand and everything in my inventory by just getting close. Was I perfect? No. But by doing the math, you can know right away, if it's blatantly I'm not even close to being able to compete here, well then, that's what this whole thing is about. You don't need to go this in depth as you're evaluating ideas in the beginning. So there's other factors that are more important. But basically, here's the thing. Let's say, you had 10,000 that you were going to invest. I probably would not go after something that's going to require 8,000 my first time. Or even at any given point, when you look at your total amount of dollars that you have to invest and spend, if you're not making money on any products yet, I would not invest my whole nest egg into something. I've always invested portions of my wealth, and where I think there's a great upside and I have the resources to compete in that market. So here's the thing. As you gain skills and knowledge and capital and have income sources from Amazon and other ways, then you can progressively take more markets, because as the markets get bigger in revenue, they require more money and there's more competition. So, just progressively you get more resources of skills and money. So don't start too high. And I guess, you can always go lower because that lowers your risk. But yeah, just make sure you're not biting off too much to chew. And this applies if you're just getting started, and it even applies to advanced sellers. You never want to go too far above, but you do want to go at that point where there's a big opportunity. And that's a whole nother thing. Expected value is a great way to choose these markets. So we have a video on expected value and doing the math more so, but this is just high level. Make sure you're finding that Goldilocks zone of a product opportunity, market opportunity for yourself. And yeah, let me know if you guys got any questions, and on to the next one.